It didn't take long after Jesus gathered disciples and started walking all over Israel that he gained a reputation. If you were sick, he was your man. In fact, as rumors spread about the amazing work of Jesus, a crowd would form around him, full of people who wanted to see Jesus at work with their own eyes. There was one particular time when Jairus, a church leader, sought out Jesus because his only daughter was really sick. Jairus was desperate to find Jesus, the healer he had heard so much about. When Jairus found Jesus, he fell at his feet, begging him to go to his house where his daughter was. Jesus agreed. The crowds grew as the streets narrowed. Jesus and Jairus were getting squashed amongst all the people. But suddenly, Jesus stopped in his tracks, saying, "Who touched me?" Peter, one of his disciples, said, "We're in a pretty big crowd. Any one of these people could have touched you." "No, someone touched me. I felt the power go out from me." Peter and the other disciples were baffled as there was lots of hustle and bustle going on about them. A particular lady overheard Jesus, and she knew immediately that she had to confess. "Master, I'm so sorry, but it was me. I've been bleeding for 12 years. I've heard of your healing power, and I just had to find you, so I fought through the crowd. But because of all the people, all I could reach was your cloak." She paused and wiped the tears that had been tumbling down her cheeks and looked up into Jesus' face. "It has stopped. The bleeding has stopped." Jesus looked deep into her eyes and said, "Go in peace. Your faith in me has made you well." While all this was going on, one of Jairus' friends arrived on the scene, and he said, "It's no use now. It's too late. Don't bother the teacher. Your daughter, she has died." Shocked at the news, Jairus turned to Jesus. "Do not be afraid. Believe, and she will be healed." Shortly, they arrived at the home. Jesus went into the home and took his disciples, Jairus and his wife, to see their daughter. As he did so, he turned to the friends and relatives, saying, "Stop your crying. She's not dead, but asleep." They laughed, thinking, "What a silly thing to say," as they knew she was dead. Jesus went into the girl's room where she lay, took her hand and said, "My child, get up." Immediately, her spirit returned and breathed life into her, and she stood up. What a day this was for Jesus. But how much more of a day would this have been for the lady who suffered with bleeding for 12 years? And what about Jairus and his wife? Their only daughter had died, and they sought out Jesus. It seems that sometimes simply asking Jesus in faith is enough. As we trust God, our faith will grow.